this week we are going to jump into some nonfiction books. And when we read nonfiction books, a lot of them have these things called text features. So we're really going to focus on text features this week. Now, when I have a book that is nonfiction, so that means that it's not fake, it's real, it's informational, it will have text features. And text features are anything in the book that's not the main body or the main text of the book. So when I open up my book, I'm going to turn a couple of pages. A lot of times these books will have a text feature of a table of contents. So that is one text feature. Another text feature, as I'm flipping through, have these captions, so it tells me about them. And then another text feature are these photographs. There are so many text features. We're going to really focus on just a couple of them. Here's my favorite text feature, the labels. So the text features are anything that's not the main body of the text. So this is what the main body is. That's what we read. But as readers, we really have to make sure that we're reading all parts, including those text features. So for today's lesson, you will need your big piece of white paper and then these two papers that have your text features that we're going to focus on and the definition of them. So if you need to, go ahead and grab these papers, some scissors, and some glue, because we are going to make a tree map. We're going to put things into categories with a tree map, and we are going to categorize our text features. Now that you have all of your materials, you're going to have your big piece of white paper, some glue, some scissors, and then these two pages. What I need you to make sure you do is that you cut them all out. So they're either squares or rectangles. So if you can cut all your squares and rectangles out, what I did to organize myself, and it will help me, and this will help you because we're going to make the tree map together, is I put all my definitions together, all my pictures together, and all my labels together, and then this is actually the top of my tree map. So I'm going to take everything and push it to the side, and I'm going to make a tree map. Now, when we have so many things to glue to one place, it is important that we just place the things first, then go back and glue it. So the heading of my tree map is my nonfiction text features. So I'm going to make sure that it's right here in the middle of my paper. Then I'm going to take my little rectangles, and they are the nonfiction text features that we're going to work on this week. So I'm going to start with captions over here. Then I have table of contents. Then I have diagram. Then I have photographs and maps. And now, because I didn't glue them, I'm just going to move them so there's space in between every one. So please make sure right now your paper looks like mine. When we keep on going, I want to make sure that you have everything in the proper place for your tree map. So my nonfiction text features at the top: captions, table of contents, diagram, photographs, and maps. Then I'm going to grab my colorful pictures of each. Now the first one that I'm going to find is the captions. And your caption one is the planet with the caption underneath. So the caption is usually underneath a photograph, sometimes an illustration, and it tells us more about the picture. That is a very important text feature, and we have to make sure we always read our captions. So match your caption picture with your caption title. The next one is table of contents. And table of contents can be in a fiction book too, but it's also in nonfiction books. So I'm going to make sure that my table of contents is under it. My table of contents usually tells me the heading and what page it's on. And then the next one is a diagram, and a diagram is usually a picture or a photograph that has labels. So our picture is of a microscope. So it's an illustration or clip art of a microscope, and then the diagram has labels that tells me about the different parts. My next one is photographs, and I like to chunk illustration and photographs together. So I'm going to put those there. So a lot of times a photograph, like it's taken with a camera. And an illustration is if it's something realistic that's been drawn. So like in this picture, it's a realistic hand. It's not like a cartoon or anything. And then my last one is a map. And that is our last picture, which is a map of the United States, which is where we live. We are right here in that little purple state of North Carolina. But there are maps of the oceans, maps of the worlds, maps of towns, and we could even make a map of our classroom. So remember, we have not glued anything. Now the last thing I have are these rectangles that have sentences in them. And they're the definition of each of our text features. So I'm just going to take the first one on the top. If you want to find yours that looks like mine, that's okay. This says, a picture with labels that tells the parts. Which one would it best fit under? A picture with labels that tells the parts. Which one do you think it is? Yes, a diagram. A diagram is a picture that has labels that tells all the parts. The next definition I have is tells what is in the book and the page it's on. Whoa. What text feature would this best define? Yes, table of contents. My next definition is tells about the picture. What tells about the picture? Yes, captions. Captions tell us about the picture. The next one is a picture taken with a camera. Which one do you think it is? Yes, it's a photograph. It's usually taken with a camera. And then my last one says, shows where something is in the world. And that is our last one that's left. That is a map. Now that I know where all of these are, I can pick up each little square, glue it on the back, and stick it. After you do that, we have to make our tree map look like a tree map. So my heading, nonfiction text features, is going to be the top, and I'm going to make all the branches of my tree. So here's one branch, that's an easy branch. And then I'm going to come over here, branch, branch, come over here, branch, branch, and then I'm going to connect my branches. Boop. So on your tree map, you should have 5 branches because we're focusing on 5 text features. Now there are more than 5 text features, and we will learn more about them as the year goes on, but we're going to focus on these 5 this week. All right, so when you are done, you are making sure everything is glued on. You have added in your tree map with those 5 branches. And now that we are text feature experts, this week we are going to have lots of fun and talk about how certain text features tell us more in particular books we're reading. So remember, as readers, we always have to make sure we read the main body of the text and also use those text features, because a lot of times those text features can give us more information. Thanks so much.